Hey everybody, welcome back to World History Class with Mr. Finn. We are continuing with the beginning of Rome. Now, if you remember, we talked about the first maybe 400 years where Rome had been governed or ruled over by Etruscan kings. They had overthrown those Etruscan kings in 509 BC, establishing the Roman Republic, which would then govern over the people of Rome. They extended their boundaries, they had control over the Italian peninsula, and that is the early part of Roman history. Now, let's take a look at the people and how it operated a little bit in these early times under the Roman Republic. So, let's start with the people. How was Roman society set up? Well, we have some terms here to look at. The most important thing to understand about ancient Rome is that you would either fall into the category of a patrician or a plebeian. One of these two categories is what people were identified as. Now, patricians will start at the top. Patricians are going to be what great, wealthy, land-owning people. And that's what we'll put here. Let's put the patrician definition of land-owning, let's say for our terms, rich people. They are going to be powerful people. Rich land-owning people are going to govern basically over Rome. They are going to be the ones who are going to be elected into the government to rule over the people and make laws and all the things that we're going to look at in a second. Plebeians would have been the less wealthy landowners. They would have had land. They might be merchants. They could be artisans. Just the everyday people of Rome would be a plebeian. So let's call plebeians for us, let's call them everyday people. Everyday people were the plebeians. So the majority of people, what do we guess? The most people in Rome are going to either be this or this. Which one? Probably this. There's going to be a lot more plebeians than there are patricians, which is going to mean that the patricians are going to be a smaller group of people who are going to have a lot of power, and there's going to be conflict, which we will see patricians versus plebeians a lot of times in these early parts of Roman history, because the plebeians are going to say, wait a second. Aren't we all Roman citizens? Why are you only allowed to be elected to be in the government? Why do you get all the power? Why do you get everything? If we're all citizens, shouldn't we get some stuff too? And so there will be a back and forth between the patricians and plebeians, these two groups of people. But if you were living in Rome, you would be one of these. I would be this, you would probably be this. Patricians would be the really rich, well-off people. Now, how does their government work? Well, it works in a couple of different ways. You have some different offices that are going to rule. It's a lot like today with our government, where you have the president, you have Congress, you have different groups, different bodies of men who rule over ancient Rome. The people who would be closest to what we would consider a president in the United States would be consuls. Now, consuls in ancient Rome, there would be two of them, two consuls, and today our president, when elected, gets to be president for 4 years and then must be reelected to do another 4 years. So you can have an 8-year term. For the consuls of Rome, ancient Rome, you'd have two of them, two men, two patricians, and they would be able to be in charge or be consuls for 1 year terms. So again, just like in the United States of America, you have a 4-year term for president. 4-year, I was holding my marker top. And you can be re-elected and have an 8-year term fully, but then that's all you can do. Consuls would have, there'd be two of them, and they have 1-year terms. Now, the reason for this, the reason why we have this is Why would we guess? Well, what did I say last class? If you were there, you would remember that the Romans distrusted kings. They didn't like their Etruscan kings. They were scared of someone getting too much power. So they say, listen, there's going to be two of them. So there's not just one person who can be in charge. There's going to be two of them. And they're only going to be allowed to be consuls for 1 year. And so this is to limit power. They do not want anyone getting too powerful. We'll see later on in Roman history what happens when people get too much power. But this is who is going to be kind of the figurehead, the person kind of running everything, these two people. But this group is going to now come out of the blue here, the Senate. The Senate is going to be a group of, well, they're going to be patricians, so we'll put that. Patricians. If you can't spell patricians at that size, you can see it up here. The Senate is going to be a group of patricians. It's going to be about 300 of these people, of these men. So these 300 men are going to be part of the Senate. Now the Senate originally was designed to help out the consuls and help out the other government officials, give them suggestions, and this is what we think, and this is what maybe we should do. Over time, in that early part of Roman history that we talked about, from 753 down into around 300 BC, about 400 years, the Senate is going to gain power. In fact, the Senate is going to end up, they are really going to be ruling Rome. They are going to be the ones who decide what Rome does, what direction it does, who do we go to war with, where do we expand, what are the laws. They start making everything. So the Senate really, in that early part, becomes really the government. They are the ones in charge. So this Senate is going to be, if you were a member of the Senate, another thing about the Senate, you were a member, if you got elected to be in the Senate, this is for life, if I can get it big enough. If you were a senator, you were a senator for life. That's a good office. That is a good gig. You get a lot of money. You are there for life. You are rich. You're a patrician. Everything is going great. So here is the problem that we're going to see with these two groups, is these patricians have a lot of good things going for them. And generally speaking, when you're rich, powerful, and everything else, you want to hold on to that. You don't want to give up that power. It's good. You've learned to love it. And so these patricians and plebeians are going to have some problems as we get back into around the time we're talking about, where we got to around 250 BC, 300. We'll see what happens with the plebeians. Now, under Roman law, we begin with the 12 tables. Now, the 12 tables was designed to be a law code, we'll call a law code for Romans. So this 12 tables is going to be a law code that says, what happens if someone commits a crime against someone else? What happens if there is, like we would think today, like tickets or anything like that? This is the law. This tells you what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do, what are the penalties. But it only has to do with Romans, and this is a Roman citizen thing. However, we're going to see Rome is going to keep expanding. They're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And as they get bigger, we run into a problem, or Rome runs into a problem. And that is, what do we do if we have an issue with a Roman citizen, and then somebody who we've conquered and taken over as we've expanded? What do we do then? The law of nations comes after the 12 tables. So the law of nations is going to be a law code for everybody. So a law code for, I'm getting low here, everyone. Because as Rome expands, it takes over all kinds of different areas. And so you might just be sitting there and you'd be like, I'm not a Roman citizen, but Rome occupies my area. They have taken over my area. Now, I have an issue with a Roman citizen, but I'm not Roman. How do we solve this problem? And that is going to be through the law of nations. Rome will have a system of courts and judges. A lot of the law that we have today in the United States comes from this. So we have jury trials, presumed innocence, innocent until proven guilty. All of those things are founded really in ancient Rome. So a lot of what we have in the United States comes from this. In fact, we even have a Senate. we didn't even change the name. We kept the same name, the Senate. So this is how Rome is going to operate. It has a complicated system of government. We have Rome expanding. It has a law code that will apply to people so everyone knows the law, no surprises. Rome is very fair with the people who they conquer and take over. However, they can be very cruel if they do not fall in line, and we'll see this coming up as well. But today is really just about having an understanding of what ancient Rome was. In this early part of ancient Roman history, this is how it's set up. It's pretty organized, which is good. It has everything in line, has a government, it's limiting power. Things are looking good for Rome. People were happy about Rome. Rome is going to be, if you were a Roman, Rome was what you cared about. And that's important because the people loving their civilization is going to allow them to do a lot of things. So today, last time, we didn't talk about Cincinnatus. Like, you know what? Cincinnatus will be next time because it's going to be about the values of Rome, and I'm getting to that. So I guess it will work to tell you about Roman values and everything else. But for today, show me this. Tell me your notes so you have it. Because some of this stuff will be on the quiz, like who are the rich people in Rome, patricians and things like that. And then next time, we will get to Cincinnatus and I'll tell you the story. It's just a small story. You know about Cincinnatus now, but it is important to understand how that is a lesson for the Romans. They look to that, kind of like the Greeks look to the Odyssey or the Iliad to say, hey, how am I supposed to act? What are the ethics and virtues and morals that I should have? But turn this in today. You guys have been doing a great job, and I'll see you next class.